Here off and on for 20. What was the last question? I missed it.
Let's see. It was, are you familiar with the activities at the house? I assume they mean the crime scene. Like, you were at their house when you met them, right? I'm referring to a Reddit.
No, I read them. They were actually outside. I never went inside.
Okay.
But no, I didn't. Like. I was in my apartment all night. So.
Okay, the night of the murders or the crime, you were in your apartment all night.
I never really hung out with them. So like, to me they were just like some normal sorority girls that drank every once in a while on the weekends. So.
Okay, and and when I was asking you about meeting them, I want everybody else to know. You know, and I know, but you're thinking about it now, wondering if it was a party sound you heard.
I usually got my own thing going on.
Yeah, yeah. You referred to them in the Reddit AMA as beautiful, joyful. I can't remember the other two adjectives, but yeah,
they seem wonderful. And some of my coworkers actually went to high school with them in Coeur d'Alene, so it's a trip for us. So, and they said they're super cool too. So it's crazy that it's like as you think when you think about these people getting stabbed, it's kind of like horrifying because it makes you think that it can happen to anyone. Like not just like people who are doing some shit. You know what I mean? Like just like normal people every day. And I think that's the really like spooky, scary part right now to some people.
Yeah. What's your thought about the luxury SUV now, looking back? You probably didn't think too much of it then. Any ideas?
No, not really. It was pretty decked out. I think it had like rims and windows. It just like a cool car, and that's why I noticed it. But I didn't I just assumed it was like one of the the people's parents. Like a lot of the students here have really rich parents, and they have nice cars. So that's just kind of what it seemed like to me. And I don't know. I saw I think it was a kind of like a deserty. It might have been. It was either like Arizona. It might even been Colorado, but I think or like Montana. And like I saw one of those cars like parked up on the hill of our lot a lot. I'm wondering if it was a white Elantra. I'm thinking back and I can't remember. Like I don't want to say it was or not, but that was the only other car I noticed that didn't seem like someone that lives there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that observant, but I'd say I'm more observant than like most people, I guess.
Yeah. Liz is asking, did you know that your coworkers knew them before or after the murder?
No, one of the next day I went to work, I had one of the dudes talk down and talk to me and, just like ask me how I was doing and talk, and, always telling me how like knew some of the people or something. And like, it's like, well, that's crazy. But I mean, that's like Coeur d'Alene's pretty local, you know what I mean? So like, It's not that far off.
Right. And that's where you work then is Coeur d'Alene. Is that?
No, I work in Moscow. No, I work in Poland.
You went to high school with them in Coeur d'Alene, and you work in Moscow. That makes sense.
No, I didn't go to high school with them. One of my coworkers did. Okay. I went to school in Poland.
Okay. All right. There's been some audio making rounds of a scream, and I was just wondering if you could confirm that that was nothing you provided to any media anywhere, because a lot of people are trying to make connections there.
I didn't hear about it till basically people were telling me and things like this, and I was like, oh, LOL. Yeah, no, complete hoax. Yeah, okay. I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
How many views has it got?
It's on multiple channels, so I couldn't even tell you how many views the scream has received, because there's so many different outlets, not official outlets, but YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't record anything. I don't see how I would record something after I hear something unless I was already recording, which I wasn't. So.
Yeah. You've mentioned that you're an artist and that you're a chef. Do you ever stay up late doing your craft, working on things? Do you ever hear what's going on around the neighborhood ever?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess not. I mean, I usually listen to something, so I mean, I'm usually like zoned in on whatever I'm doing. But I guess it's kind of like on like the parties night. Like the like I don't know. The parties are kind of just like noise to me. So like I hear that, and like every once in a while, like I'll hear like somebody return home really late in the night. But I mean, it's like semi-normal, like 3, 4 a.m. Like that's not that late. People go over to people's houses and they hang out for a long time and then they come home on the weekends. Like that's just like college life, I feel like. And like sometimes I'll just like listen to some music in my bedroom to like kind of like tune out like anybody who's like super super late or loud. And then sometimes like you'll hear just like people walking down, like I don't know, sometimes yelling, but not like it doesn't happen like I don't know. It's not super super loud, but it's like it's campus, it's noisy. But I mean, it's like you can hear what's going on. I guess sort of like was close vicinity, but yeah, it's usually just noise. Like there's nothing like you want to listen to. I guess it's kind of weird. I guess like you can kind of like our walls are really thin, so like certain places you can hear like certain areas outside or inside, whatever. But I don't know. The place I think you can hear in that neighbor's house, I guess, is like in the house is like the yard. I feel like the yard is the place where you can hear the most things. Like, so if you were going to hear something that happened in that house, it'd probably be the yard. Like, I feel like the sounds inside, I'm guessing, wouldn't carry as much. Just because, like again, I think that yard is sort of like almost an amphitheater set up a little bit. It's like it's got the hill and it's like down a little bit, and then above it is like the parking lot and another hill. So it's like I don't know, it's kind of like a meteor like hole in a sense. And so like I think probably like like in the middle the sound probably resonates around.
That makes sense. A request for clarification. Back to the SUV one more time that you saw.
I've always been into like cars with like rims and tinted windows and stuff like that, and this was like one of those cars I'd be like, man, probably if I was younger and rich I probably would have bought it. So I think that's why it stood out to me. But like yeah, it just it kind of seemed like either a baller or like somebody's rich parents. That's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, that makes sense. People saying about this,
no, I'm a hermit. I'm super hermit. Okay. I don't really talk to anyone. I talk to a few of my really old friends. I talk to I hang out with my coworkers sometimes. And most of the time I'm super busy in my crafts. Like I don't know. And I have like I don't know. There's like a girl I hang out with, and that's about it.
Okay. Does it make you nervous at all that this is unsolved? Do you feel nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit?
It's pretty brutal and like, I don't know, thought out killing, I guess. Like, it's like kind of scary, and it also kind of scary that it just happened to some ordinary people. So I think everyone's a little bit spooked now, you know what I mean? Like, I guess in the city, the shit's like semi-normal or whatever, but like not here. Like I don't know. So I think I don't know. It's kind of scary that this would happen ever. Like especially in this town. So
yeah.
And it's like it's like you think about it, it's like what kind of protection can you get at these cases? Like you can lock your windows, you can like put strips and stuff, you can get a gun, but like this dude like went in the house and killed them before they could really react. They grab a gun or whatever and left, and not anybody knowing. Like that's scary. You know what I mean? So like thinking about people doing that out, especially like on your block, is pretty spooky.
Yeah. Have you talked to law enforcement since that first day they came over and asked you if you'd heard anything?
Yeah, I did once.
Once? Did they come over to the neighborhood again to talk to everyone, or did you go talk to them?
No, I wouldn't. I just talked to them later.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about that, or is that off the record? Okay.
That's off the record.